Something is coming. And I think this is going to be the biggest crash in world history.
But I think we probably are in a recession, and that recession will get worse.
And the latest sign that we may be headed for a recession, as some economists are now saying we're already there.
Since the beginning of 2022, the top 500 billionaires in the world have already lost $1.4 trillion combined. If you look at the largest economy in the world, the top billionaires in the US has also lost more than you could imagine. Elon Musk lost $73.2 billion, Jeff Bezos lost $65.3 billion, and Mark Zuckerberg lost $64.4 billion in the same year. And as the year has not ended yet, the haunting data is trying to remind us of the 2008 crisis. So, are we heading towards one of the most devastating crises of all time, or are we already in recession? Welcome to Millionaire's Business Wealth Secrets YouTube channel. Next, we will look at what experts are saying about the current economic crisis, the actual reasons behind it, and how we can prepare for it. However, before we continue, we request that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, please click that like button. It helps spread the word. Thank you. What is a recession? So, in order to identify if we are repeating the 2008 crisis or not, we must first understand the meaning of recession. According to the United States National Bureau of Economic Research, a recession occurs when there is a wider and massive decline in the economy that lasts more than a few months. To be more specific, the former Federal Reserve economist Claudia Sahm reveals that a recession occurs when there's a decline in GDP for 2 straight quarters. One of the main indicators by Sahm is when consumers spend less, people lose their jobs, businesses cut back on investment, and industrial production slows down. Well, if you look at what is happening in the market, the facts speak for themselves. 2 months back, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, surprised everyone by stating, "A recession is inevitable at some point." As to whether there is a recession in the near term, that is more likely than not. Not only that, Musk also declared to lay off around 10% of its salaried staff in the coming months, which tick marks one of the main ingredients of recession. At present, there are more than 99,290 employees working at Tesla. So making 10% of these employees jobless can alone affect the economy at its weakest point.
Tesla is eliminating about 200 jobs in one California office. This after reports that Elon Musk vowed to cut 10% of the company's salaried headcount, the CEO blaming rising costs on supply chain delays. Also on the layoffs list, streaming giant Netflix, the online lecture circuit Masterclass, real estate company Redfin, as well as big-name banks like JP Morgan Chase. And following big losses in crypto markets, cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase letting go of more than 1,000 employees.
Moving towards the August 2022 report published by the U.S. Department of Labor, you will be astonished to know that the number of unemployed persons increased from 344,000 to 6.0 million. This took the situation back to February 2020 period, when COVID-19 forced everyone to either work from home or lose their current job. The report also revealed that the number of permanent job losers increased from 188,000 to 1.4 million in August. Now, this data is only with respect to the labor aspect of the economy. But if we look closer, other major factors also not sitting idle in putting the economy into recession. Major factors causing recession. Inflation. As the economy was trying to recover from the devastating effects of COVID-19, the rise in inflation after the Russia-Ukraine war and China's zero-COVID policy heavily contributed to the increase in prices in the country. With Russia being the biggest exporter of fertilizer and petroleum in the country, the U.S. was forced to ask countries like Saudi Arabia to take care of its petroleum needs. However, what could have been avoided was further increased by the decision-making power of President Biden, because in 2008, Keystone Pipeline project was made between Canada and U.S., in which oil will be imported from Canada to reduce America's dependence on Middle Eastern countries. Surprisingly, after Biden vowed to adopt greener technology in the country, this project was canceled. Furthermore, to ensure his climate change objectives are fulfilled, Biden also canceled existing oil and gas leasing projects that automatically resulted in a shortage of oil supply in the country, thus skyrocketing oil prices beyond imagination. According to a June report by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation is currently at a 40-year high, touching 9.1% in June. And in the same month, gas prices reached $5 per gallon, forcing people to prefer staying home than hitting the road. As the effects of inflation started eating even billionaires' pocket, Jeff Bezos blamed Biden for rising inflation by making this tweet. The administration tried hard to inject even more stimulus into an already overheated, inflationary economy, and only Manchin saved them from themselves. Inflation is a regressive tax that hurts the least affluent. Misdirection doesn't help the country. Billionaire Sam Zell, who became famous through his real estate deals, also blamed the government for causing inflation. He said, central bank actions to flood the market with money in recent years are coming back to bite the economy. We have to reduce that liquidity, and, in the process, we have created significant inflation that I think is only controllable by raising interest rates and maybe putting us into a recession. Moreover, Bill Gates, on the other hand, argued that the rise in interest rate by the central bank can also result in a global economic slowdown pushed by the Russia-Ukraine war and COVID-19. By looking at the market statistics, he said, "I am afraid the bears on this one has a pretty strong argument that concerns me a lot. The war in Ukraine comes on top of the pandemic, where the government debt levels were already very high and there were already some supply chain problems." Business investment. According to one of the leading auditing companies, Deloitte, investment in non-residential sectors has decreased by 20%. As people have started shopping online and have adapted to the trend of working from home, the investment in office buildings, as well as retail space, has drastically reduced. China's zero-COVID policy. From textiles to metals and beyond, China accounts for around 42% of the total exports to America. However, after shutting down factories in China during zero-COVID policies, the supply chain effects have not only forced foreign companies to leave China, but also contributed heavily to rising inflation in U.S. Conclusion. So this was the complete picture of what the experts think of recession in the country. As the statistics are clearly hinting toward a rising economic crisis, it is time to brace yourself on how we can recover from this situation.